staff of Beech Motor Speedway and the Cusack family. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Maine's oldest continually operating family-owned speedway. My name is Bruce Elder, your race commentator, and tonight at Beech Motor Speedway it's Daytona Triple Crown Series 2. We will be opening in just a few minutes with the qualifying heats in the limited sportsman, late models, and modifieds. Once again, our sponsor tonight is Jeff Waterman's Sunoco Ultra Service Center. And starting tonight's parade lap is some of the vehicles sponsored in part by Jeff Waterman's Sunoco. The number 32 is, of course, the late model of Joe Bowser, already a feature winner here at Beech Motor Speedway. The number 90 up from the limited sportsman division is Kevin Tobias in the modified number 90. The number 16 that you just saw, one of the Waterman Sunoco sponsored cars, the 16 is driven by Don Copert Jr. The second row on the inside, the 08 is driven by Rodney Moody. To his outside, the 19 is driven by rookie Phil Weeks. On the inside, the 74 is driven by Gary Adams. To his outside, the 55 is Mark Bernier. First qualifying heat for the limited sportsman division, 12 cars to qualify for the main event. The rest will have to come back in a consolation event. Very competitive limited sportsman division with a number of cars capable of winning the main event. Once again, so many limited sportsmen that we run a semi-feature a little bit later on in the evening, and that's primarily a chance for the drivers to collect points and be able to run in these qualifying events. Once again on the pole, the 85 is driven by Scott Chapman. To his outside, the 16 is Don Copert Jr. Looking for a start out of turn 4 is Junior Niles. Green flag is out. Side by side down the front stretch is Scott Chapman on the inside, Don Copert to his outside. They race the two-turn, look down the backstretch side by side, still Chapman and Copert. Slight advantage into turn 3 by Don Copert on the outside. Chapman races back on the inside and the 85 retakes the lead. Out of turn 4 at the start-finish line, it's Chapman by a half a car length. Don Copert's right back on the outside, skirmish on the front stretch. Gary Adams is backwards, backing down the front stretch. Drivers do a nice job of avoiding him. We're looking to stay under green if possible. 72 of Tony Fields works to the inside. Some mechanical problems perhaps on the 72. Chapman, the leader now, out of turn 1, racing to turn 2. Then comes Don Copert and Phil Weeks, your top 3. Don Copert looks to the outside, tucks right back in behind Chapman once again as they race the 4-turn, look down the front stretch. Once again, it's Don Copert looking to the outside of the 85 of Chapman. Phil Weeks will look to fill the inside slot if he possibly can. Weeks, a rookie in the limited sportsman division, doing a fine job this year in the number 19. But it's Don Copert mounting a challenge to the outside of the Chapman automobile, out of turn 4 down the front stretch, side by side at the start-finish line, 4 laps down. Chapman fighting back on the inside, trying to hang on to that lead right from the pole position this evening. Don Copert once again works his car part way by the Chapman automobile in the 3 and 4 turn. Don Copert Jr. with a slight advantage, trying to work his way out and around the 85 of Scott Chapman. Down the backstretch, he does. New leader is Don Copert Jr. in the 16 as he takes over the lead in lap 5. Remember, only 12 cars to qualify from this qualifying heat. Still some strong runners back in the pack beyond that 12th spot. Looks like the 06 of Dennis Quinn is the last qualified car right now, but cars are racing 3 abreast of the 3-turn, looking to get up into the top 12 spots and qualify for the main event and avoid the consi if they possibly can. Next time by, our starter, Junior Niles, says it'll be halfway. In this 15-lap qualifying heat, it'll be 8 laps down as they cross the finish line, and Don Copert has worked himself out to a comfortable lead over Scott Chapman. Then comes Phil Weeks, Kevin Buck in the 4th spot in the number 25. Then comes the 08 of Rodney Moody holding the 5th spot. The battle for the last qualifying spot looks to be waged now by 3 drivers. The 49 of Ron Smith, the 06 of Dennis Quinn, and the 69 of Richard Olin, all vying. And here comes Kerry Anderson on the outside in the 51 and Tom Bragg in the 48 on the inside, all looking to qualify. laps to go now as they've crossed the finish line for lap 11. Don Colbert has worked out to almost a straightaway lead over Scott Chapman. The 16 of Don Colbert running strong here tonight. Definitely a car to watch in the main event coming up later on in the evening. Kevin Buck has worked his way up to challenge the third place competitor now as he looks to the inside of the 19 of Phil Weeks. It'll be 2 to go this time by. 2 laps to go for Don Colbert and the rest of the field. And again, it still looks like the 12th and last qualifying position is up for grabs. It looks like it's between the 49 of Smith and the 06 of Dennis Quinn. White flag is in the air, meaning they're in their last lap. A lot of good cars are going to have to run the Consi the way it looks tonight, as there are some strong runners still back there trapped beyond the 12th qualifying position. Checkered flag out for Don Colbert Jr. as he collects the first qualifying heat in the Limited Sportsman Division. A strong, impressive run by Don Colbert this evening. Nice round of applause for Don Colbert as he comes down to collect the checkered flag to win the first qualifying heat of the evening. Once again, one of the Limited Sportsmen, sponsored in part by Jeff Waterman's Sunoco Ultra Service Center on Main Street in South Portland. Lower point cars in the late model sportsman division. Still some very strong runners here in the first qualifying heat. On the pole from Windham, Maine in the Hall Implement Babb logging, number 4 is Bobby Babb. To his outside, the 27 out of Gray, Maine is Gary Pulsifer. Second on the inside, the number 19 is driven by Jay Johnson. Bobby Babb jumps into a quick lead in the number 4. Gary Pulsifer in the second spot. Third spot up for grabs, and it's Jay Johnson on the inside, Joe Bowser to the outside, and Tim Land trying to make a bid for that position as Joe Bowser goes wide. The 16 moves to the inside, taking over the 4th spot. And right now, Joe Bowser trying to work his way down out of that outside lane, but Kerry Winslow fills the inside groove, and the inside groove early in the evening usually is the faster lane. So Joe Bowser and Kurt Gary kind of hung up on the outside now as the inside lane moves. Bobby Babb jumps out to an impressive lead. Babb has led several races impressively, only to fall to mechanical difficulty. And I'm sure he's thinking, well, maybe tonight will be different. And the number 4 is definitely a strong runner right off from the front row tonight. Gary Pulsifer once again in the 27. Then comes Jay Johnson out of the Buxton area. The 27 of Pulsifer seems to shut right down and go right out over the stripe. Definitely mechanical difficulty, I would assume, in the 27, as he seemed to shut right down. Now has picked it back up again, but that took him from second to last. Tough break for Gary Pulsifer. We're at the halfway mark already with 5 down, 5 to go. Bobby Babb running away with this one. Kerry Winslow has jumped into second place. Then Jay Johnson. A battle now shaping up with Al Bursett to the inside, Tim Land to the outside. Land gets a little out of shape, straightens it out. Andy Lude momentarily boxed in the number 56. Andy Lude, already feature winner here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, and a very impressive runner. In fact, a winner of 2 features already this year in the number 56. Third place is held now by rookie Al Bursett. In the number 17, Andy Lude, your 4th place competitor. Then Carl Latame is 5th. 2 laps to go, says flagman Eddie Walsh. 8 down, 2 to go in this first qualifying heat of the evening for the late model sportsman division. And an impressive run by Bobby Babb out of Windham, Maine. Kerry Winslow on the move as he has shortened the gap between himself and Babb. White flag is in the air, 1 lap to go. Andy Lude on the move, trying to make a bid for that 3rd place position. Has had a lot of ground to make up and doesn't look like he has time enough. Checkered flag is out for Bobby Babb in the number 4, winner of the first qualifying heat of the evening in the late model sportsman division. Nice round of applause as Bobby Babb coasts down to collect up the flag, and a picture at the start-finish line winner of the first qualifying heat of the evening in the late model sportsman division, and definitely a youngster to watch in the main event coming up a little bit later on. Another car coming out of the pit. The 21 is Dave Lamprin. The green flag is out. Rowell jumps into a quick lead. Late addition there to the lineup was Dave Lamprin out of Sevago Lake, Maine. Tangle in the 3-turn. The 24 of Emerson perhaps has bent the suspension. Hard to tell right now. The 6 of Rowell experiencing mechanical difficulty. Looks like he'll take it right to the pit area. Tough break for Clint Rowell. Meanwhile, on the point is the number 90 of Kevin DeBias, the rookie in the modified division. Then Scott Watts in a battle with Pete Rondo. Watts moving to the outside. Rondo right to the back bumper of the number 90 of DeBias. Rondo in the number 5, already 3 feature wins to his credit. The youngster out of Seabrook, New Hampshire, they call him Screamin' Scott Watts. He's a hard charger, a youngster about 20 years old out of Seabrook, New Hampshire, driving a modified now for about 3 seasons, and he is always a hard charger. The car of DeBias gets a little squirrely. That gives Watts just what he was looking for, a little chance to get up beside the number 90. They race wheel to wheel now out of the 4-turn start down the front stretch. Still DeBias by an edge at the start-finish line, and into turn 1, now here comes Watts once again on the outside. Scott Watts on the move down into the 3-turn, puts the bumper ahead. Tries to maintain the advantage out of turn 4. DeBias fights back on the inside there, wheel to wheel across the start-finish line. Watts with a little advantage in the 1-turn, and out of the 2-turn down the backstretch, Scott Watts, the new leader. The hard charger out of Seabrook, New Hampshire in the F80 has taken over the lead on lap 6. This 10-lap qualifying event. Now it's Pete Rondo trying to follow suit on the outside of the number 90 of DeBias. Rondo, a hard charger out of Saco, Maine in the number 5. He's in a wheel-to-wheel battle now with DeBias. Rondo works his way to the outside of the number 90, takes over the 2nd spot, and that puts DeBias back to 3rd. Then comes Dave Lamprin in the number 21, and Glenn Cusack in the number 8. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go for Scott Watts and the crew. Checkered flag out for Scott Watts as he takes the first qualifying heat of the evening in the modified division. He was voted most improved modified driver in 1989. Nice round of applause for Scott Watts as he collects up the flag and a picture at the start-finish line. Definitely a modified to watch in the feature event a little bit later on in the evening. Second qualifying heat in the limited sportsman division finds Bubba Pelton in the number 27 on the pole. To his outside, Rocky Yargo in the number 65 as they look for a start out of turn 4. Green flag is out. Bubba Pelton looking to hold off a hard-charging Beaver Norton in the number 38, and Rocky Yargo to the outside as they race side by side, and momentarily boxed in is young Mike Mayetta Jr. in the number 3. Then comes the 68 of Chuck Haynes, the 12 of Tim Gendron, and he's followed by Mike Field in the 88. Gordon Nelson, the new chauffeur of the number 61. Then comes the 89 of Butch Buzzle, the 78 of Dave Fecto, the 23 of Robbie Dorr. These are the High Point Limited Sportsmen. Once again, 12 cars to qualify. A lot of the top cars right back at the back of the pack. Dave Sprague in the number 1. Joey Eastman in the number 8. Terry Brown in the 44. Gary Clough in the 0. Chris Rule in one of the Waterman Sunoco sponsored cars. Already 2 feature wins to his credit. Back there, 93, Danny Palmer, the feature winner last week in the limited sportsman division. Billy Thompson in the number 6. Jeff Morgan in the number 70. Kevin Durgan in the Z28. Then your High Point men right back at the back of the pack. The 54 of Rick Frenette, the 111 of Pee Wee Knight, the 2 of Brad Layton, and the 76 of Earl Glidden Jr., rookie out of Westbrook, Maine. That's the field for the second qualifying heat as Beaver Norton has taken over the point in the number 38. strong run of the last few weeks. The youngster in the number 38. Then comes Chuck Haynes in the 68. Mike Mayetta Jr. told me earlier this evening they think they have the car straightened out after a bad crash and have it working the way they want it to. And as he rides up to that third place position right now in this high point heat for the limited sportsman division, it looks like maybe the Mayetta crew has the number 3 straightened out. Then comes Rocky Yargo, the number 65 in 4th place, and Tim Gendron, the 5th place competitor. Remember, only 12 cars to qualify. Flagman Eddie Walsh says it'll be halfway next time by. And Beaver Norton in the number 38, the leader, trying to hold off Chuck Haynes and young Mike Mayetta Jr. in the number 3. Mayetta putting a lot of pressure on the Chuck Haynes automobile. Haynes is able to put a little bit of distance on him down the backstretch. Mayetta's right back in the turns, right back to the bumper of the second place competitor. Now Mayetta looks to the outside as they race the front stretch to turn 1. Mayetta continues to look to the outside of the Chuck Haynes automobile. Haynes seems to be strong down the front stretch. Spin by the 27 of Bubba Pelton. Have to see if he can get that refired or we will be under yellow. He does refire the car, keeps us under green. Leader continues to be Norton in the 38. Chuck Haynes in second position. Mike Mayetta in third. Rocky Yargo in fourth, and a side-by-side battle shaping up. Here comes Butch Buzzell on the outside in the 89. Already a couple of feature wins to his credit. Spin by the 61 of Gordon Nelson in turn 4. Everybody avoids him. Drivers do a nice job as the car of the 61 of Gordon Nelson, new driver as of last week, cannot get the car fired in time. That brings out the yellow flag. Will be under caution and revert back to the last lap run under the green flag for a realignment as cars tangle on the backstretch as well. Looks like the 54 Rick Frenette and the 93 of Danny Palmer. Hard to tell whether Joey Eastman was involved in that or just stopped before getting into it. The other certified technicians back their work with the Sunoco Ultra Service Center guarantee. We'll tell you more about that. But right now we're ready to restart with 11 laps down in the second qualifying heat for the limited sportsman division, with Beaver Norton in the number 38 on the pole, and Chuck Haynes to his outside looking for a start out of turn 4 is Flagman Eddie Walsh. Green flag is out. Norton jumps back into a quick lead, and it's a side-by-side battle for second. Mike Mayetta Jr. in the number 3, right to the inside, right on the bumper of the 38 of Norton. Chuck Haynes to the outside, and Butch Buzzell races to the back of the number 3 automobile of Mayetta. Then comes Rocky Yargo for the top 5. Only 12 cars to qualify. Cars get out of shape a little bit. Drivers do a nice job of straightening them out. Mayetta takes over second spot as he moves to the inside of the Chuck Haynes automobile. Here comes Butch Buzzell in the 89 trying to take over third. 2 laps to go this time by. Chuck Haynes trying to fight back on the outside and hold on to one of those top 5 positions. Once again, only 12 cars to qualify. The rest will be back in a consolation event. Leader continues to be the 38 driven by Beaver Norton, trying to hold off young Mike Mayetta as the white flag goes out, meaning 1 lap to go. Here comes Butch Buzzell on the outside. Butch Buzzell, a strong runner, 2 feature wins to his credit this year, racing to the outside of the Mayetta automobile, now looking down the backstretch to the outside of the leader, Beaver Norton. Norton trying to hold off the hard-charging 89, and checkered flag is out. Norton manages to hang on to the lead, and it was kind of a side-by-side battle there at the finish line for the second spot, with Mayetta to the inside and Buzzell to the outside, and Robert Beaver Norton collects up the high point heat here tonight as he coasts down to the start-finish line. A nice round of applause for Beaver Norton out of Gorham, Maine, driving the Roland Junkin sponsored machine. Next on deck, the second qualifying heat for the late model sportsman division. On the pole, the former multi-year champion here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway. The 91 is driven by Bobby Randall, who of course was third in the New England Thompson New England 300 last week with an impressive run. To his outside, the 07 is driven by Phil Pinkham. The 37 on the inside is Bobby Harrison. To his outside, the number 2 is driven by Glenn Cusack. The 55, Arthur Hannaford. The 25, Dave Herrick. Looking for a start out of turn 4 is flagman Eddie Walsh. Green flag is out. Bobby Randall and Phil Pinkham. Pinkham with a slight advantage as they race the front stretch to turn 1. In the outside groove, the 07 trying to take over the lead. Phil Pinkham, Easton Tractor lap leader in the 1989 season, trying to hold off the multi-year champion here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway out of Sanford, Maine, Bobby Randall. Continues to be a slight advantage by Pinkham on the outside in the Griffin Motorsports prepared 07 out of Windham, Maine, and the 91, the St. Hilaire Brothers 91 out of Sanford, Maine. Your strong runners right at the front of the pack. Side-by-side battle continues for the lead between Randall now has a slight advantage on the inside, Phil Pinkham to the outside. Side-by-side at turn 4. Out of turn 4 down the front chute. Slight advantage at the start-finish line by Randall as they complete the first 2 laps here. They've put some distance on Bobby Harrison, a former champion in the late model division in the number 37. A veteran in the number 1 is Kenny Lund. Looks to race to the inside, and he does. Gets under the 37 of Harrison and takes over the 3rd spot. Here comes Mike Mayetta, also a former champion in the late model division. Young man who does double duty, driving both modified and the late model halfway this time by, and it continues to be about a dead heat at the start-finish line. 5 down, 5 to go. As Phil Pinkham does a nice job hanging on to that lead spot, or sharing it with Bob Randall in the 91 as they continue to circuit the oval, nearly side-by-side. Slight advantage for Randall that time by, as he has put the whole car now ahead of the 07 of Phil Pinkham. Hard to run that outside groove here early. Pinkham drops in behind the 91, looks to the inside now to see if Randall might move out a little bit. Randall doesn't, and has moved out to about a car and a half length lead. It'll be 2 laps to go next time by for Bob Randall. Phil Pinkham, Kenny Lund, Mike Mayetta, and Barry Babb, your top 5 here in the second qualifying heat. 2 laps to go. Another strong runner who had an impressive run in the Thompson New England 300 is, of course, Bobby Libby in the number 34, who sits now in about the 7th spot. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. Bobby Randall, impressive last Sunday afternoon, taking a 3rd in the New England 300 and had a 2nd sewed up until a restart with just 4 laps to go put him on the outside. Checkered flag in the air as Randall collects the high point heat here of the late model sportsman division, holding off Phil Pinkham in the 07, Kenny Lund in the number 1, Mike Mayetta in the 13, and Barry Babb in the 0. On the track right now is the second qualifying heat for the modifieds. High point cars in the modified division, and they'll turn a few laps as they're waiting for Mike Mayetta to make his switch from the late model number 13 to his modified number 16, and he enters the track at turn 3. On the pole tonight in the second qualifying heat out of Windham, Maine, with 2 feature wins to his credit already, is Lou Weatherby in the Atlas Towing Channel One video machine out of Windham. To his outside, already a feature winner, is Scarborough's Tom Oliver. Tom Oliver, a strong runner, and definitely a car to watch. Had the stopwatch on him in practice, and he was very fast. For a start out of turn 4, green flag is out. And it looks like it'll be a false start as flagman Eddie Walsh put the yellow flag immediately in the air after the green flag came out. So we'll be looking to start that over again. Green flag is out. Weatherby jumps into a quick lead right at the start. And it's a side-by-side battle now. Gahan works to the inside and takes over 2nd place. And now it'll be a side-by-side battle for 3rd with Willie Elliott to the inside, Tommy Oliver to the outside. Tommy Oliver trying to make that outside groove work, which is always a little difficult early in the evening. And he has to settle back into 4th place, but he has David Pinkham in the number 61. now to his inside, so it's going to be a side-by-side battle for third place. Willie Elliott gets out of shape. David Pinkham dives to the inside to take over the third spot. And now Willie Elliott looks to fight back on the inside. Leader continues to be Lou Weatherby in the number 3. Then Bobby Gahan in the number 50. David Pinkham in the 61. Willie Elliott in the number 1. Tommy Oliver in a battle now with Spike Mattertall. Oliver in the 29, Spike Mattertall in the 89. Modifieds turn up close to 100 on the straightaway. Last time the radar gun was out, had them turning about 97 at the end of the straightaway, so they are quick. Lou Weatherby sees the halfway mark. 5 down, 5 to go as he leads this second qualifying heat of the night. Bobby Gahan, the veteran, multi-year track champion, practically wherever he runs in the number 50. Looks to the inside of Weatherby now, but Weatherby continues to hold the point as the two leaders have put a little distance on David Pinkham, and David Pinkham is looking to hold off hard-charging Willie Elliott. Now looks to the outside of Pinkham as they race to the 3-turn. Tommy Oliver is at the back bumper. Willie Elliott on the move now, trying to make the outside groove work for him as he works to the outside of the 29 of Oliver and looks to the outside of the 61 as they race into the 3-turn. Out of turn 4, 2 laps to go. 8 down and 2 to go for the modifieds. Willie Elliott right out over the stripe, has to back out of it, and that puts him back next to last. Leader continues to be Lou Weatherby in the number 3, Bobby Gahan right on his bumper. David Pinkham now looking to hold off Tommy Oliver in the 29. Oliver looks to the outside of the 61, trying to pick up a position in turn 3, races to the outside of the 61. Checkered flag in the air for Lou Weatherby. Bobby Gahan, David Pinkham, Oliver, and Mayetter, the top 5. And he elects to take the car right to the pit area. The number 3 is sponsored in part by Atlas Auto and Towing. Just a cool-down lap, evidently. Forest City Chevrolet and Channel One Video sponsoring the number 3 this year. Lou Weatherby brings it down to the start-finish line now. A nice round of applause for the winner of the second qualifying heat in the modified division. And definitely a car to watch as he has collected 2 feature wins already this year. On the pole tonight in the semi-feature, the 103 is driven by Richard Ryder. The 66 to his outside is Trent Smith. The 109 is Gary Sturdivant. The 77, Ricky Libby. The number 9 is Mike Grant. The number 30 is Joe Green. The 56 is Robert Bodwell. The 32, Guy Poulin. The 87, Steve Perry. The 104, Ed Strong. The 41, Gene Terrio. The 105 is Glenn Reynolds. The 91, Dave Copra. The 13, Ed Gallant. The 107, Doug Shores. The 96 is John Maycomber. 37, Larry Gelinas. The 94, Dave Oliver. The 100, John McMullen, I'm sorry. 15, Don Tapley. The 50, Alan Burraby. The 73, Dean Turgeon. The 63, Mike Roberts. And the 83, Steve Carrier. Green flag is out. Trent Smith jumps into a quick lead in the 66. And then comes the 103 of Richard Ryder. A side-by-side battle shaping up. Libby in the 77 racing to the outside. The 109 of Sturdivant on the inside. Still battling for that third spot as Sturdivant races back on the inside. Side-by-side they race for the third position. Joe Green, the car gets sideways. It's the number 9 of Mike Grant, and he collects up, couldn't quite tell the number, the 104 was collected up, and the 9 is still sitting over in the 2-turn. That is Mike Grant. 66 of Trent Smith with a big lead as they race the backstretch. And we go under yellow as the number 9 is unable to refire the car over in the 2-turn. 37 of Larry Gelinas gets into the wall here as they go under yellow. to restart this limited sportsman semi-feature with Trent Smith on the pole, looking for a start out of turn 4. Green flag is out. Smith jumps into a quick lead once again in the 66. Then comes the 109 of Gary Sturdivant right up the inside, and the 56 of Robert Bodwell is the inside lane. They make out like bandits here on this restart. The 87 of Steve Perry also. Here comes Gene Terrio in the 41 to take over the 5th spot. Drivers on the outside, 3 wide racing into turn 1. The 109 gets out of shape, takes him right out of a second place spot. That's Gary Sturdivant now is relegated to the back of the pack. A tough break for him and getting out of shape in the 1 and 2 turn. Leader continues to be young Trent Smith in the number 66 as he moves out once again to an impressive lead. It's Robert Bodwell fighting right back in second spot, looking to close that gap. Steve Perry on the move as he moves into third in the number 87, then Gene Terrio. And here comes the 91 of Dave Culprit to take 5th spot. John McMullen on the move in the number 100. 3 and 4 abreast racing now in the 1 turn. Be interesting to see if they can negotiate the 2 turn, and they do. Some nice driving by these limited sportsman drivers as they race 3 abreast. Racing for points, trying to work their way up out of the semi-feature. Young Steve Carrier on the move, 3 abreast down the front stretch into turn 1. The youngster out of Somersworth, New Hampshire, second generation racer, working the outside groove, and a spin by Dean Turgeon. Also a spin by Oliver as he works the 94 into the infield, and we'll have to see if that will put us under yellow or not. We're approaching the halfway mark. Spin by Libby in the 77 in the 2 turn will bring out the caution flag. Caution flag is out. Rick Libby sitting in a dangerous spot in the 2 turn. Also the 94 of Dave Oliver about halfway down the backstretch, and it looks like he might have lost a left front wheel the way the car is setting. Tough break for Oliver in the number 94. Ready to restart the semi-feature out of turn 4. Green flag is out. This time it is Bodwell to the inside in the number 56. Trent Smith on the outside. And Steve Perry on the move. Cars tangle right here on the front stretch as a couple of cars don't get underway. All the drivers seem to negotiate that. Ed Gallant has to head to the pit area. We're approaching the halfway mark. This time by Robert Bodwell has taken over the lead. Then comes Steve Perry in the 87. John McMullen to the inside of Trent Smith in the 66. Then comes Gene Terrio in the 41, the top 5. Dave Culprit on the move in the 91, as is Joe Green in the number 30. Cars tangle right here on the front stretch. The 60 of Lloyd Washburn trying to get back underway, and he does. Keeps us under green. Leader continues to be the 56 of Robert Bodwell. Then comes Steve Perry in the 87, John McMullen in the 100, Gene Terrio in the 41, and Joe Green in number 30 has taken over the 5th spot. John McMullen on the move as he gets under the 87 of Perry. John McMullen taking over second spot in the number 100. A nice move. That puts Perry back to third. Gene Terrio is 4th. Joe Green in the number 50, your 5th place car. Once again, points are what the drivers are after in this limited sportsman semi-feature. The lower point cars in the limited sportsman division. 2 laps to go this time by. As Bodwell crosses the start-finish line, he has 2 laps to go in the rest of the field. This is the one chance in the evening for these cars to race, and they want to make the best of it. White flag will be in the air now. 1 lap to go for Bodwell, the leader at number 56. John McMullen in the 100, Steve Perry in the 87, Gene Theriault in the 41, and Joe Green trying to hold off Alan Burraby in the number 50. Checkered flag is out for the 56 of Bodwell as he collects the semi-feature tonight. Doing a nice job of working his way to the front with a convincing win here this evening and collecting up valuable points. A bad crash off the fourth turn into the wall area. Safety officials will get right to that, and we'll hope we don't have an injury out of that. We'll give you a report as soon as we get it. Cars involved with the 77 of Rick Libby, he's out of his car, and the 73 of Dean Turgeon being attended to by the safety crew. Ambulance crew assisting Dean Turgeon out of the number 73, and we'll give you a report as we get it. Officials tell us that Dean Turgeon is conscious. He is shaken up, obviously, and they're certainly going to take their time in assisting him out of the car. And obviously we know you'll be patient, and we'll take whatever time it does require. Winner of the semi-feature is, of course, the driver of the 56 of Robert Bodwell at the start-finish line, collecting his first semi-feature of the 1990 season. The officials at the accident scene tell us that Dean Turgeon, they feel, is in good shape. They're talking to him. So that's a good sign. And they just want to be very careful taking him out of the car. Concerned not to injure him in the process of getting him out of the car, but he is conscious and talking with them. And we're certainly very glad to hear that. I'd like to mention while the safety crew is assisting Dean Turgeon, and Dean is out of the car now and standing up, and let's give him a nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Young Dean Turgeon out of the car, being assisted by the crew. He is walking, for those of you that perhaps can't see, and that's certainly a good sign. They're going to take him and check him over, but the feeling of the crew, safety crew, is that Dean is shaken up, but he is okay. Youngster out of Gorham, Maine, who's been a strong runner here in the limited sportsman division. And we're certainly glad that apparently there's not a serious injury in that crash. I'd like to make you aware that there are many former drivers here with us tonight. A lot of what we call all-stars over the years here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, and many of them are seated right to the left of the tower, right to the left of the flag stand as you face the track. And I'd like to read a list of a number of the people who are either here. Some of them may be in the pit area, but some of the people in attendance are Cal Reynolds, Ernie Gahan, Jerry Seavey, Gene Velacci, Roger Hanscom, of course, is involved here weekly, Jim McConnell, Paul Tardif, Del Stimson, of course, Bob Libby here involved weekly, Dick Wolstenhue, that many of you see weekly, I'm sure, Frankie Moses, Buzzy Stack, of course, Bob Babb involved here weekly as his sons both race. Larry Chandler, of course, our pace car driver. Hank LaLumiere, former flagman. Bob Rounds, Dave Gutter, who's involved in the pit area weekly. Ray Worcester, just to mention some of them that we've been told have been either seen here or in the pit area. That'll bring back a lot of memories for many of the people in attendance here over the years. A number of great drivers back here. Bob Bushley, also, I'm quite sure is here tonight. Many times he is here. And there may be others. And it's nice to have many of these people back who helped to build Beech Ridge Motor Speedway into a very successful track. And we always like to welcome the veterans back as they come back to visit. Of course, some of them are here weekly. Tell us that the 50-50 winner's share, get this now, the winner's share of the 50-50 is now in the vicinity of $2,200. The winner's share is in the vicinity of $2,200. So if you haven't bought your 50-50 ticket, you will want to tonight. Limited Sportsman Concy on the track, ready to start with Tom Bragg and Jeff Morgan on the front line. These are the cars out of the heats that did not qualify. Second row, Dennis Quinn and Tim Gendron. Third row, Kerry Anderson and Pee Wee Knight looking for a start out of turn 4. Green flag is out, and it's Tom Bragg jumping into a quick lead, the number 48. Dennis Quinn battling for second with Jeff Morgan to his outside. Then comes Kerry Anderson. The number 2 is Brad Layton out of Center Harbor, New Hampshire. The 111 on the move is Pee Wee Knight. The 6 is Billy Thompson. The 34, Russ Johnson. The 03 is Steve Howard. 79 is driven by Phil Weber. The 54, Rick Furnett. Leader continues to be Tom Bragg, but he has a challenger working to the outside now is Jeff Morgan. Jeff Morgan in the number 70 trying to make his way out and around the leader. Dennis Quinn right to the back bumper of the leader. 8 cars to qualify for the main event. This is the consolation event. Those cars that did not qualify in those first 2 qualifying heats for the limited sportsman, 8 cars will qualify for the main event. Jeff Morgan on the move on the outside as he works his way to the outside of the 48 of Tom Bragg. Out of the 2-turn down the backstretch, Bragg fights back on the inside, trying to hold on to that lead. Jeff Morgan into the 3-turn, about half the car by. Bragg fights back on the inside. They're even out of turn 4 at the stripe. It's Morgan by about a fender. Morgan still working the outside. Works around out of the 2-turn down the backstretch to take the lead. Here comes Kerry Anderson on the outside. Now to challenge Tom Bragg for second. Steve Quinn on the inside. And it looks like the last qualified cars, it's a battle between the 34 of Russ Johnson and the 54 of Rick Furnett. Once again, only 8 of these cars will transfer to the main event. Jeff Morgan now has Kerry Anderson to his outside. Donnie Morse out of shape, along with Gary Adams. Gary Adams spins as he ends the front stretch down into the turn 1 area, backs it to the infield, tries to keep the car moving, and gets it down below the stripe before Morgan comes by. Kerry Anderson, the number 2 of Brad Layton, is on the move. All of these cars desperately wanting to make it up into the top 8 positions. You have some top cars that have won features halfway this time by. 48 of Bragg gets out of shape. He does a nice job of bringing the car back. Kerry Anderson putting the pressure to the back bumper of the 70 of Morgan. Morgan so far has been able to hold off the hard-charging Anderson in the 51. Then comes Bragg Layton in the number 2. Dennis Quinn in 4th place in the 06. Billy Thompson in the number 6, your 5th place competitor. And a side-by-side battle for 6. Pee Wee Knight on the outside. Slight advantage over Russ Johnson. Looks like the 8th place car is the 03 of Quinn. Quinn moving to the inside of the Russ Johnson automobile as they race the 3-turn. That puts Johnson back in a battle now for 8th spot with a 61. Gordon Nelson behind the wheel of the 61. Looks like he's the last qualified car. I believe the 8th place car is the 61 of Gordon Nelson. It'll be 2 laps to go next time by. Jeff Morgan continues to hold off the hard-charging Kerry Anderson. 2 laps to go. Challenge now for that last qualifying position. The 61 of Gordon Nelson, the 54 of Rick Furnett, as they race right to the back bumper, the 03 of Steve Howard. White flag is out. Looks like the last qualified car right now is the Rick Furnett automobile out of the 2-turn down the backstretch as he works to the outside of the 03 of Steve Howard. Checkered flag is in the air for the number 70 of Jeff Morgan. Looks like the last 2 qualified cars are the 03 and the 54. That's unofficial. We'll have to see what the word from scoring is. As always, some top cars that will not make the feature event tonight. An indication of just how strong the competition is. The driver number 21 out of Sebago Lake, Maine, Dave Lampron. 4th on the inside out of Windham, Maine, with 2 feature wins to his credit in the 1990 season. The Atlas Auto Channel One video machine of Lou Weatherby. To his outside, hard charger out of Scarborough, Maine, driving the number 29 is Tommy Oliver. Next on the inside out of Barrington, New Hampshire, veteran racer and former track champion Bobby Gahan. Now for those 4 most famous words in auto racing. Ladies and gentlemen, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Gentlemen, start your engines. As the drivers come out of turn 4 down the front stretch, we'd like you to give them a nice wave off, ladies and gentlemen. Wave your hat, your hand, your handkerchief. Let them know that you appreciate modified racing here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway. As the drivers take a couple of warm-up laps here to heat the tires up just a little bit, warm up the fluids in the drivetrain, and we'll be ready for 25 laps of the highest speed racing anywhere in the state of Maine, the open wheel modifieds, right here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway. Tonight sponsored by Jeff Waterman's Sunoco Ultra Service Center, Main Street in South Portland. Scott Watts bring him down to a start out of turn 4. Green flag is out. Watts with the advantage at the start-finish line as he races into the one turn, into the lead, right from the outside pole position. Dave Lamprin trying to move on the outside as he looks to the outside of the 24 of Jimmy Emerson. Watts, your leader in the F80, Jimmy Emerson. Then comes Dave Lamprin. Tommy Oliver in 4th and Kevin Tobias in 5th. Willie Elliott racing the outside now, looking to the outside of the number 5 of Pete Rondo. Also in the outside lane is David Pinkham. Watts jumps out to a quick 8 or 9 car length lead over Jimmy Emerson. Emerson trying to hold off hard charging Tommy Oliver in the number 29. Lamprin looks to the inside as Oliver moved out, then Oliver tucks right back in line. Pete Rondo now in the outside on the move out of turn 2, looking down the backstretch. He and Willie Elliott in the outside groove, trying to make that work in a waltz to the front. Continues to be strong laps turned by young Scott Watts out of Seabrook, New Hampshire. Continues to be Tommy Oliver battling with Jim Emerson for second. Then a side-by-side battle shaping up for the 3rd and 4th spot with Dave Lamprin to the inside, Pete Rondo working to the outside. Rondo now with the advantage into turn 3. Fast laps being turned by the F80 of Scott Watts as he turns the track at about 14.84 seconds. Not too far off the track record, which is about 14.77. Three-way battle shaping up for second now as Jimmy Emerson works to hold off hard-charging Tommy Oliver in the 29 and Pete Rondo in the number 5. The F80 of Scott Watts continues to turn laps in the 14, the mid 14.8s, 14.86 that time by. Emerson doing a nice job of holding off a couple of hard charges at his rear bumper. Youngster from Windham, Maine in the number 24, holding off Tommy Oliver and Pete Rondo. Oliver a feature winner and Rondo a winner of 3 features here this year. Side-by-side battle for 5th now finds Lamprin to the inside, Weatherby working to the outside. Lou Weatherby on the move in the number 3 as he races to the outside of the number 21 of Dave Lamprin. Weatherby takes over the 5th spot down the backstretch, sets his sights on the battle that's in front of him for that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spot. A 3-way battle now with Oliver trying to work the outside of Rondo as they race to the 3-turn. It's a side-by-side battle for 3rd. Rondo to the inside, Oliver to the outside. Pete Rondo slides to the inside, takes over 3rd spot. So it's now Emerson in 2nd, Rondo in 3rd. Rondo looks to the outside of the Emerson machine halfway. Halfway point this time by. Continues to be Jimmy Emerson doing a nice job in 2nd place in the number 24. Pete Rondo now looking to the outside of the Emerson machine. As Oliver fills the inside groove, there'll be no place else for Rondo but to stay in the outside lane. Willie Elliott experiencing perhaps a fluid loss that put him into a spin as he goes off over the 1 turn. That'll bring out the yellow flag. In the 14th lap of this modified feature, we go under caution, and that will take away the big lead held by Scott Watts in the F80 and bring him right back for an even start. Going back to the last lap under the green flag. With 14 laps down in this 25-lap feature, we're ready to restart with Scott Watts on the front line with Jimmy Emerson. Green flag is out as they negotiate the 4-turn out of the 4-turn down the front stretch, and Scott Watts jumps right back into a quick lead. The number 5 of Rondo takes over second spot. Jimmy Emerson fighting back on the outside. Lou Weatherby battling for fourth, trying to work his way into third as he races to the back bumper of the number 5. Bobby Gahan right on Weatherby's bumper. Then comes Tommy Oliver working the outside, and the 61 of David Pinkham. 16 laps down, and it continues to be a fast run for Scott Watts out of Seabrook, New Hampshire, followed by Pete Rondo, Lou Weatherby, Bobby Gahan, and a side-by-side battle for fifth between Tommy Oliver and Jimmy Emerson. Emerson stuck in that outside lane, and that has made the going difficult for him as the inside groove is working a little bit better, and there's no way for him to get back down in. Scott Watts continues to turn the track at just off the track record here this evening. A fast run for the youngster out of Seabrook, New Hampshire in the 80, followed by Pete Rondo, Lou Weatherby, Bobby Gahan, and Tommy Oliver is taking over a fifth spot all to himself, and he'll have to hold off David Pinkham in the 61 as he is right at the back bumper of Oliver. Pete Rondo now. It'll be 5 laps to go. 20 down and 5 to go. Scott Watts trying to hold off 3-time feature winner Pete Rondo in the number 5. Jimmy Emerson still stuck in that outside groove and finally will work his way back in, but not until he's back to about the 8th spot. Continues to be Scott Watts, turning laps at about 14.86. Fast times for the youngster out of Seabrook, New Hampshire, as he works hard to hold off the strong challenge of Rondo. 2 laps to go. 2 to go this time around, and it continues to be Scott Watts holding off Pete Rondo. Out of turn 4, white flag is in the air. Leaders bumper to bumper. Rondo looks to the outside now in turns 1 and turn 2. Out of the 2 turn down the backstretch, Rondo looks to the outside of the 80 of Scott Watts. Checkered flag in the air, and it's Scott Watts collecting his first feature of the 1990 season, followed by Pete Rondo, Lou Weatherby, Bobby Gahan, and the 29 of Tommy Oliver in a very fast modified 25 laps here, just off a track record by our stopwatch here in the tower. Very, very good time for young Scott Watts as he comes down to collect up the colors and take a pace lap. Nice round of applause for Scott Watts out of Seabrook, New Hampshire, driving an 87 Cavalier, sponsored in part by Bagley's Electric, Tosetta Chevrolet, Lloyd Perkins Incorporated. Trophy is also going to the second and third place. As Scott Watts returns the colors to flagman Eddie Walsh, in just a few moments he'll be out of the race car and we'll be going trackside for a chance to hear from tonight's modified feature winner.
Congratulations.
Thanks. It was it was pretty good. The track loosened up a little bit at the end. The car was going all right. And we did all right. At least we won, And I had a sponsor in the audience, Bagley's Electric, and it was good to have a good show like that in front of them.
Well, you ran so well in the heat race, too. Was there any premonition there that the feature race was going to be just as good? Was the car dialed in perfectly then?
Not really, but they played with it inside the pit, and they fixed it. I told the guys when I was up here at the heat, I want to visit them again, and they said I did it. So.
Well, that's those last few laps, Pete Rondo comes crashing down on the back of you, and he's already scooped up 3 wins so far this year. He's looking for his 4th win. He's certainly been the dominant factor in the modified division. You held them off well. Do you think you could have held them off if there had been like another 5 laps?
Yeah, I think so. I was kind of letting up a little bit and keeping it low, so he couldn't get underneath me. I was waiting for him. If he was going to go around me, he's going to have to go around me.
Well, a great strategy, and it paid off tonight with the victory. Rose McMullen, representing the Waterman's Ultra Service Center, has the trophy and the presentation for you.
Congratulations, Scott. You did a great job.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Scott Watts.
We are ready for our second feature event of the evening. The late model sportsmen also in their second leg of the Daytona Triple Crown. On the pole is the number 4 of Bobby Babb out of Windham, Maine. To his outside, the number 32 of Joe Bowser. In the second row, the number 19 is Jay Johnson. To his outside, the youngster out of Limerick, Maine, Kurt Gary. The showman that you heard at intermission time, Andy Lude out of Biddeford, Maine, in the number 56. Next on the inside, the 49, Kerry Winslow. On the outside, the 55, Arthur Hannaford. The 85, Ricky Harrison. 13, Mike Mayetta. The 0, Barry Babb. 34, Bobby Libby. 35, Paul Johnson. 33, Mike Johnson. 28, Ken McLeod. Al Brissett in the 17. 98, Carl Latame. Dave Herrick in the 25. Ready for a start out of turn 4. Green flag is out. Bobby Babb jumps into a quick lead. Last couple of cars that we got, Mitch Brown in the number 40, Billy Charles in the number 99, racing the 99 in memory of his friend, of course, Kenny Wilkinson. Spin in the 3 and 4 turn. Arthur Hannaford gets the car around, as does the 28 of Ken McLeod. Perhaps something there on the track as several cars spin. Yellow flag comes out as the drivers have just completed about 1.5 laps. That will put us under a caution, and we will go back to the completion of that 1 lap. Bobby Babb jumps back into a quick lead, followed by Joe Bowser in the 32. Then a side-by-side battle shaping up for third. Kurt Gary working the outside. Jay Johnson to the inside. Andy Lude on the move on the outside. Bobby Babb shows the way in his number 4 out of Windham, Maine. Side-by-side racing continues for the third spot as the 88 of Kurt Gary is trying to work his way out and around the 19. They get sideways as they touch in the 4 turn. Cars scatter. Bobby Randall's down and against the wall, and that will bring out the caution flag once again. Didn't look like he got into the wall very hard. We'll have to hope that it wasn't enough to put him out of the race at this early stage. Ready for a restart with 1 lap completed. Babb and Bowser bring the field down to a start out of turn 4. Green is out. Bobby Babb once again reestablishes the lead that he held prior to the restart. Andy Lude on the move. Keep your eyes on the number 56 of Andy Lude as he has worked his way into third spot now. Bobby Babb with about a 3 to 4 car length lead over Joe Bowser. Then comes Andy Lude, Jay Johnson in the number 19. And a side-by-side battle shaping up for 5th spot between Phil Pinkham and Kurt Gary as they race side-by-side, trying to determine who is going to be 5th in the early running of tonight's second in a series called the Daytona Triple Crown. Bobby Babb looks strong tonight in the number 4. As he continues to show the way. Chalk up laps also, of course, in the Eastern Tractor Lap Leader program. And we'll give you a rundown on the lap leader standings as of last weekend. Kurt Gary now races 3 wide down the front stretch. 3 wide into turn 1. Jay Johnson and Gary turn sideways. Cars scatter in all directions. Drivers do a nice job of missing them once again. Kurt Gary, Jay Johnson also collect up the 37 of Bobby Harrison. And that puts us back to a caution flag. 5 laps down. We'll revert once again to the last lap run under the green flag. Lights are out on the Beretta from Pape Chevrolet, official pace car here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway. And flagman Eddie Walsh says, we are ready for a restart with 5 laps down in this 35-lap late model sportsman feature. Bobby Babb and Joe Bowser bringing the field down, looking for a start at turn 4. Flagman looks the field over. Green is out. Babb once again retakes the lead, and here comes Andy Lude up the inside to challenge for second as he moves to the inside of Joe Bowser. Bowser fights back down the backstretch, but here comes Lude once again. Side-by-side battle in turn 4 for the second spot. Lude on the inside, Bowser to the outside. Phil Pinkham on the move also, as is Mike Mayetta working up the outside lane. Cars play bumper tag there in turn 2 as somebody backed off and everybody kind of tapped bumpers, and they do a nice job of handling that. Bobby Babb continues to show the way. 7 laps down. Bobby Babb, Andy Lude, Joe Bowser, Glenn Cusack up into 4th. Battle for 5th with Phil Pinkham in the 07, Ricky Harrison in the 85. Then comes Mike Mayetta, and it looks like Tim Land on the inside. A strong run tonight by the youngster in the number 16. Andy Lude trying to close up on the back bumper of the number 4 of Bobby Babb. Yellow flag is out once again. Yellow flag evidently coming out for the 88 of Kurt Gary. Flat tire, flat right rear tire on the 88 of Kurt Gary. Flagman Eddie Waltz says we're ready to start. Bobby Babb and Andy Lude on the front line bring down the late models. Green flag is out. Bobby Babb once again jumps into a slim lead over Andy Lude. Andy Lude looks to move into the inside groove, is able to do it as he works to the inside back bumper of Babb. Side-by-side battle for 3rd now. Joe Bowser on the inside, Glenn Cusack to the outside. Glenn Cusack on the move in the Cherry Coke number 2 as he races to the outside, challenging Joe Bowser for the 3rd spot. Then comes Ricky Harrison in the 85, Phil Pinkham in the 07, Mike Mayetta. Andy Lude right up on the back bumper of Babb that time. Babb is able to pull back again to about a 1.5 car length lead. Andy Lude continues to circle the track in just about the same groove that Babb is running in. If that's his best groove, it might be difficult for him to get by. Meanwhile, Glenn Cusack continues to try to make the outside groove work for him as he battles to the outside of the 85 of Ricky Harrison. They're battling for the 4th spot in a side-by-side battle. Glenn Cusack looks to the outside of Joe Bowser now, tries to mount a pit challenge for the 3rd place position. Meanwhile, it's a bumper-to-bumper battle up front with Andy Lude holding off. Being held off by Bobby Babb. Bobby Randall on the move also out of the 2-turn down the backstretch as he works to the outside of the 0 of Barry Babb. Paul Johnson trying to make the outside groove work as he races to the outside of Mike Johnson between the 1 and 2 turn. A lot of smoke out of the 19 of Jay Johnson. Looks like he will take the car right to the pit area. Tough break for Jay Johnson, strong runner who has too often experienced some mechanical difficulty. Billy Childs taking the 99 also to the pit area. 27 of Gary Pulsiva. Looks like he's headed to the pit area along with the 25 of Dave Herrick. The attrition rate rather high here in the early going, 16 laps down. Be approaching the halfway mark in another lap. Continues to be Bobby Babb showing the way. Andy Lude right at his back bumper. Next time by, Flagman Eddie Waltz will show the drivers the cross flags, meaning halfway mark this time by. The battle is now shaping up for 3rd side-by-side battle. Joe Bowser to the inside, Ricky Harrison to the outside in the 85. Side-by-side down the backstretch. Neither driver wanting to settle for less than they can possibly get. Ricky Harrison on the move on the outside as he takes it to the outside of the 32 down the front stretch into turn 1, takes over the 3rd position. Mike Mayetta trying to make the move on the outside as he looks to the outside of the 07 of Phil Pinkham down into the 3-turn. Mayetta's up beside the 07. On the move is Mike Mayetta. Mayetta goes wide out of turn 4. Pinkham fights back on the inside there side-by-side to turn 1. Bobby Randall on the move down the backstretch in the outside. Keep your eyes on the 91 of Randall as he has come from the back of the pack. Mike Mayetta continues the outside groove march to the front as he tries to work his way around the 07 of Phil Pinkham. Gets a little advantage, and then Pinkham fights back on the inside. Joe Bowser holding 4th spot. Side-by-side battle for 5th. Mike Mayetta with a slight advantage at the start-finish line as he now looks to the outside of Bowser. Spin in the 3 and 4 turn. Looks like the 98 of Carl Latane. See if he can refire the car and keep us under green. Backing the car down over the banking now, trying to refire the 98. Hard to tell when he's just coasting the car back. Caution flag out once again, 24 laps down. And that will put us back to a caution situation. We will revert back to the last lap run under the green flag. But right now, with 24 laps down, we're ready to restart with Babb and Lude on the front line. Green flag is out. Bobby Babb once again in the lead over Andy Lude. Then comes the 85 of Ricky Harrison. Phil Pinkham in the 07. Glenn Cusack in a side-by-side battle with Joe Bowser for 5th spot. Bobby Babb with perhaps the strongest run of the 1990 season here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, turning some fast times. Cars on the move in the second groove to keep your eyes on the 32 of Bowser, the 13 of Mayetta, the 35 of Paul Johnson, all trying to make the outside groove work and make their way to the front. Bobby Babb turning laps consistently at about a 16 seconds flat, doing a nice job of holding the lead over a couple of hard chargers in his rearview mirror, the 56 of Andy Lude and the 85 of Ricky Harrison out of Freeport, Maine. Two drivers who still seem like young lions, although they've been at it for a long time. Bobby Randall now down the backstretch on the outside as he works to the outside of defending champion of this division, Mike Johnson. Be 5 to go this time by. 5 laps to go, 30 down and 5 to go. Continues to be Bobby Babb showing the way in the number 4. Andy Lude in second spot, Ricky Harrison, Phil Pinkham, and Glenn Cusack. Man on the move continues to be the 91 Bobby Randall as he works down the backstretch to the outside of the 33 of Mike Johnson and looks to the outside now, the 17 of Brissett. Flagman Eddie Walsh with 2 flags in the air, meaning 2 laps to go this time by. A welcome sight for Babb in the number 4. As he has shown the way here tonight in his late model out of Windham, Maine. As they race the 3 and 4 turn, out of turn 4, white flag is in the air, meaning 1 lap to go. Bobby Babb looking to turn his luck around and collect his first feature of the 1990 season, holding off Andy Lude. Checkered flag is in the air out of turn 4 for Babb as he holds off Lude. Lude looked to the inside, couldn't quite do it. Bobby Babb collects up his first feature of the 1990 season as he leads it practically wire to wire. Bobby Babb turns his luck around. As Bobby Babb coasts down to collect up the colors, a nice round of applause for Bobby Babb out of Windham, Maine, driving his Chevy Lumina. Sponsored in part by Robert Babb & Sons Logging, Hall Implement out of Windham, Maine, Cobb's Collision Center. Bobby Babb was Rookie of the Year in his inaugural year in 1979 in the late model sportsman division. As Bobby Babb coasts back down to return the colors to flagman Eddie Walsh. In just a moment, we'll be going trackside for a chance for you to hear from tonight's late model sportsman feature winner. And we will be going trackside in just a moment.
Bobby Babb, congratulations and welcome for the first time this year into Victory Lane. A nice job.
Thank you. We needed this one real bad. Next weekend would have been 2 years without a win, and I'll tell you, I need it. It feels good.
It's been a long time coming. I'll tell you, the luck's been hard all year long because you've been right out front so many times and then problems with the car. What have you done differently, or what's changed with the car?
Really, we've just been working with the same thing we've had all year. We've had quite a bit of bad luck. Tonight, the car wasn't really going very good. If we were a little bit looser, I could have gone a lot faster, but I was going to make Andy go around me. He wasn't getting under, and I want to thank him because he drove a good race. He never touched me, and that's the way it ought to be raced.
Well, I'll tell you, I want to thank him for finishing second because I didn't think I'd ever get this mic back if he won. This race has some special meaning for you, too, and I know about 2 or 3 race meets ago, this would have been even better, wouldn't it? Because it's been a new addition to the Babb household.
Yeah, well, 3 weeks ago, this past Thursday, we had a little girl, Kelsey Diane, and I wanted to win the night that she came home from the hospital so bad, and I ended up 5th, and I think it was the worst defeat I've had, whether I crashed or not. It just took everything out of me, and this one's for her.
This one's close, and that one was close, and this one's wonderful. And we congratulate you, Dad. Rose McMullen has a presentation from Waterman's Ultra Service Center.
Congratulations, Bobby, on your win and on your new baby.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, you'll be interested to know that Bobby Babb and his brother Barry will be our track chat guests this coming Tuesday night with our fireworks show. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Bobby Babb. Now, wait a minute. I don't want you to see this money yet. I got to tell you who this guy is. Our sponsor tonight, incidentally, is Waterman's Ultra Service Center. Sir, what is your name? What is your name?
My name is Jeff Waterman.
What an ironic situation. Isn't that interesting?
That is real bad. That's real bad.
You don't even dare face these people, do you?
No, that's why I said I'm going to stand this way. I can't face these people.
Well, I'll tell you, it's 100% legitimate. And could you use $2,624?
I know some drivers who can.
Well, you certainly support enough of the drivers out here. And whatever you do with that money, I'm sure they're all going to have a little piece of it.
Thanks, Andy.
Congratulations, Jeff. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Jeff Waterman. Thank you all. Bruce, back to you.
Thank you, Andy. You know, I think that in a way that's kind of what you call poetic justice, because Jeff Waterman is a gentleman who certainly has shared an awful lot of what he has with a lot of race car owners, and certainly some of that comes back, right? When you do a lot of good many times, it does come back to you, and I think that's what we've seen happen tonight. So, Jeff, congratulations to you, and just a fantastic turn of events as the race sponsor is the big 50-50 winner. I'm sure that's the record-breaking 50-50. We've had rollovers before, but never up to that amount. Looking for a start out of turn 4. Green flag is out. Scott Chapman jumps into a slight lead over Don Culprit, but the yellow flag is right out. Flagman Eddie Walsh didn't like the looks of that start. Going to bring him right back to do it all over again for the running of a 30-lap limited sportsman main event. This is the next to the last race on the show tonight. Last will be none other than the Wildcat Team C will be out following this race. But right now, Scott Chapman and Don Culprit. Looking for a start at turn 4 is Flagman Eddie Walsh. Green is out. Chapman now has Don Culprit side by side. Culprit takes a slight advantage into the turn 2. Down the backstretch, Don Culprit takes the lead as they race to turn 3. Looks like the 49 of Smith is going to have to take it right on pit road. The 16 of Don Culprit jumps right out into a commanding lead, just as he did once he got to the front of his qualifying heat. Then comes Scott Chapman, Phil Weeks, Darrell Ward, and a battle now for 5th, Rodney Moody. And to his outside, the 86 is Robbie Herrick. Some of the heavy hitters have a long ways to go. People like Pee Wee Knight and Brad Layton, Kevin Durgan among those top point holders. And keep your eyes from time to time on those high point cars as they look to work their way up through the pack. Of course, these races are started on a handicap with the high point men starting to the rear of the pack. Don Culprit has just run away from the 2nd and 3rd place cars. And if these drivers back in the pack don't get a restart, they are definitely going to find it impossible to make their way to the front. Cars get turned around in the 2-turn. Chris Rule gets his car back underway. Another car there sitting on the inside. Looks like it might be the 68. Yes, it is. 68 of Chuck Haynes. Also, Steve Winslow having troubles here with the number 10 as he coasts down along the front stretch retaining wall. Trying to limp the car back to the pit area. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do that. As the car of Steve Winslow sits disabled down at the 1-turn area up against the wall. That'll bring us back to a caution situation once again. Ready for a restart with 8 laps down. Once again, Don Culprit on the pole. To his outside, Scott Chapman looking for a start at turn 4. Green flag is out. Don Culprit once again with an advantage as they race the front stretch to turn 1. Culprit begins to pull away. Phil Weeks works to the inside of Chapman, trying to take over 2nd place. Chapman battles back, but it's Phil Weeks taking over 2nd spot down the inside lane. I believe the 14 is perhaps a lap car, as he's not shown on the leaderboard. The 85 would be the 3rd place contender. Then comes the 51 of Kerry Anderson and the 80 of Darrell Ward for the top 5. Once again, Don Culprit able to quickly put some distance. Jim Burt with a spin right here at the start-finish line does a nice job of collecting the car back up, keeps it underway and keeps us under green. Skirmish on the backstretch as the car gets turned around. Looks like the 06 of Dennis Quinn. He's able to refire it, follow up the back of the pack. Some of the high point cars on the move. Rodney Moody now experiencing drivetrain problems as a lot of sparks are coming out from under the car, and he's trying to get the car back around to the pit area. Number 23 of Robbie Dorr on the move up the outside as he challenges Valletta on the outside. Robbie Dorr continues to try to work that outside. Cars skirmish a little bit in the one turn. Drivers get sideways. Mike Field gets it collected back up without losing a position. Does a nice job. Halfway mark this time by. 15 down, 15 to go. As Don Copra Jr. has just run away from the second and third place cars. Kerry Anderson trying to find a way by the 19 of Phil Weeks. Kerry Anderson keeps looking to the inside, right at the back bumper of the Phil Weeks automobile. Cars practically running bumper to bumper. Cars spin. It's Kevin Buck in the 25, Billy Thompson in the 6, the 85 of Rocky Yago. He gets it refired, gets it back heading the right way. And we continue under green with 16 laps down. Leader all by himself is Don Copra Jr. Second place car continues to be Phil Weeks in the 19. Kerry Anderson trying to find a way around Weeks' automobile. Lap car, the number 14 of Chris Rule, trying to get his lap back as he has to work his way by the 16 of Don Copra if he's going to do that. Kerry Anderson continues to try to work his way around the 19. Black flag goes out to the Billy Thompson automobile. It is dragging a bumper. He'll take it on pit road. Backstretch. Up against the back wall is the 44 of Terry Brown, the 86 of Robbie Herrick, and that'll put us back to a caution. Ready to restart with 19 laps down here in this 30-lap limited sportsman feature event. Flagman Eddie Walsh says, keep it even, gentlemen. Looking for a start out of turn 4. Green flag is out. Don Copra once again reestablishes himself as the leader. And the battle for second is between the 19 of Phil Weeks and the 51 of Kerry Anderson as they race side by side down through the 3 and 4 turn. Brad Layton momentarily boxed in as he is at the back bumper of the 19 of Phil Weeks. Brad Layton looking for racing room as he now looks to race between cars if he can. Works between the 51 of Kerry Anderson now and the 19 of Phil Weeks. Layton tried to go to the inside of the Weeks car, couldn't quite do it, had to back out of it going into the 1 turn. Robbie Dorr has worked his way up into 5th spot. Pee Wee Knight on the move in the 111 as he races to the outside. Looks to the outside of the 38 of Norton. Brad Layton on the move as he looks to the outside of the Phil Weeks automobile. Weeks gets a little out of shape there between the 3 and 4 turn. Layton goes high. Down the front stretch, Layton tries to race up even with the 19 of Phil Weeks. Weeks once again gets a little out of shape in the corners. Brad Layton on the move, racing down into the 2 turn. He's up side by side with the 19 of Weeks now. Kerry Anderson right at the back bumper of Weeks. Here comes Layton down the outside. Kerry Anderson keeps putting the pressure to the back bumper of the 19 of Weeks. The 2 of Layton trying to take over the 2nd spot, and he does in the 3 turn. Weeks fights back, right back to the bumper of the number 2, but it's Brad Layton in 2nd spot, now setting his sights on race leader Don Copra, but only 5 laps to go. 5 laps to go. Brad Layton with a lot of ground to make up. Donnie Copra continues to have a comfortable lead over 2nd place competitor Layton. Guys racing 3 abreast down the front stretch. They get it sorted out. Pee Wee Knight trying to make a move now as he works to the outside. Trying to get around Robbie Dorr, Kerry Anderson, and Phil Weeks if he possibly can. He's the 2nd place contender in the point standings. It'll be 2 to go. Flagman Eddie Walsh says 2 to go next time by. 2 2 to go for race leader Don Culprit. Second place contender late. Then comes a three-way battle now. Phil Weeks managing to hang on to second place, but he has Pee Wee Knight working to the outside. Down the backstretch, Kerry Anderson is back bumper, and here comes Robbie Dorr. White flag is out now for race leader Culprit. Late. Pee Wee Knight now in third. The battle is for fourth. Kerry Anderson and Phil Weeks tangle as Anderson's right in over the speed bumps. The 19 of Weeks tries to fight back on the inside. Checkered flag in the air for Don Culprit, winning tonight's feature event. The number 16. Then Brad Layton, Pee Wee Knight, Kerry Anderson with a problem right at the end of the race. Tough break as he has to take it to the outside. And that relinquishes those top positions to the 19 of Weeks and the 38 of Beaver Norton, finishing in the 4th and 5th place positions. Down to collect up the colors from flagman Eddie Walsh. A nice round of applause to send Don Culprit on his victory lap. As Don Culprit Jr. returns the colors to flagman Eddie Walsh, we will be going trackside in just a few moments for a chance to hear from tonight's Limited Sportsman feature winner.
Don, congratulations, a heck of a run.
Thanks a lot.
You started right up front, and boy, you took the advantage just to string everybody out there for a long time. A couple of restarts snubbed things up. Did you think you'd have any problems with that?
I thought I had a little trouble with 85 at the first, but I'm glad we had another restart.
The car is going like gangbusters and was even during the heat race. What have you done differently to it?
Well, I had Jeff Waterman set it up. That's all it needs.
You know, he's got some extra cash tonight, too. You may want to speak with him a little bit later.
Yeah, I guess this is the night for Waterman's.
Well, it sure is, and I'm sure they're pleased in many ways tonight. Rose McMullen has the presentation from Waterman's Ultra Service Center. Rose?
I think I speak for all the Watermans and everyone associated with the Ultra Service Center when I say congratulations on a fine job.
Thank you. I'd like to say thanks to all my friends in the pit. If it wasn't for them and Jeff and all the sponsors, Southern Maine Signs, CNC Towing, Dick's Auto Sales, Maine Battery. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here.
Well, I'm sure they're very proud of you tonight. You are here. You've got your first victory of the year, and we congratulate you. Ladies and gentlemen, another nice round of applause for Don Culprit. Thank you, Don.
Third row, the 141, Carl Merrill. Middle row, the 55 is Pierre Lamontagne. 51, Peter Sear. The number 2, Stephen Waterhouse. The 13, Vinnie Mayetta. The 17, Bill Meserve. Number 70, Dan Morgan. The 7, Joe Hennessy. The 18, Bob Pendleton. The 14, Stephen Emery. 99, Cliff Leach. 49, David Graffam. 39, Joe Todd. 32, Dennis Hall. 20, Jennifer Todd. 37, Bo Longley. Number 1, Tony Field. 38, Lyman McKay. 12, Jeff Spiller. 77, Stephen Berry. 26, Kendall Gary. Green flag is out. 25, jumps into a quick lead. That's David McHubry. Not an unfamiliar name here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, as years ago he used to race here. David McHubry in the number 25. Then comes the number 3 of Mike Booth. Third spot is the number 55, Pierre Lamontagne. 37, Longley is off the track in the turn 1 area. Spin right here in the front stretch, the 141. Carl Merrill in the 141 brings out the caution in red as cars stack up here coming out of turn 4. flag is out. Drag race start right here at the front. The number 3 of Mike Booth and the 25 of Dave McCubry battle side by side. Up the inside comes the 55 of Pierre Lamontagne. Number 3 is your leader, Mike Booth, and he has a strong challenge now. Lamontagne on the inside in the 55. Then comes McCubry in the 25. Car stopped up off the 3 and 4 turn. We'll have to see if he's able to refire that. '55, Pierre Lamontagne. Cars racing 3 abreast in the 1 turn, and they seem to be able to negotiate that okay, do a nice job. Tangle in the 3 turn, the number 3 is turned around. That'll reshuffle the lineup. Leader is number 25, David McCubry. Caution and red are out once again as we have a car sitting in the track at the end of the backstretch. Leader is the number 25 of David McCubry. Then comes the 55 of Pierre Lamontagne. Green flag is out once again. It's a drag start to the 1 turn. Looks like Dave McCubry in the number 25 is going to jump back into the lead on that restart. I knew that 5 abreast would be tough when they got to the 1 turn. Several cars, 1 car at least left unable to restart. That'll put us back to a caution and a red flag. And green flag is out once again, and among other things, they have some speedy dry to negotiate in the 1 and 2 turn area. And we have a new leader. It looks like the number 7 of Joseph Hennessy, the new leader, followed by, looks like the number 10. Number 10 is driven by Alton Reserve. He's followed by the 25 of Dave McCubry. Then comes the number 6 of Mark Henderson. Cars off in the 1 and 2 turn area appear to be off the track, and looks like they're going to get underway. Number 2, that was Stephen Waterhouse. Cars pile up right up into the infield. Drivers do a nice job of avoiding the 72 of Dale Alley. Number 60 also spins and gets it back underway. Number 60 driven by Ray Cole. Leader continues to be the number 7. Number 7 driven by Joe Hennessy. Four abreast down the front stretch. 37 with his hood up. Doing a nice job of continuing to race just the same. Caution flag is back out on the track. Green flag is out, and 2 leaders drag through turns 3 and 4, and it looks like the number 7 with the advantage out of the 4-turn down the front stretch to take over the lead once again is Joseph Hennessy. Fighting back on the outside, the 32, driven by Dennis Hall. Side by side down the backstretch, but it continues to be the number 7 of Hennessy with the advantage. Hall in second with the number 32. Cars tangle on the backstretch, and they seem to keep going. Hennessy goes a little high, and that opens up the inside groove for Hall in the 32. Dennis Hall retakes the lead down the backstretch. Now this number 7 gets into the 32, spins him in the 4-turn area. Number 7 of Hennessy with, looks like 5 laps to go. Hennessy has retaken the lead. Another spin in the 4-turn area. That'll bring out the caution flag once again. Dennis Hewitt in the number 5 is evidently disabled in the 4-turn, bringing out the caution flag once again. Green flag is back out to restart tonight's Team C. Leaderboard still shows number 7. We're not sure whether 6. I guess it is the number 6 who's the new leader, Mark Henderson. And looking to get back in the lead, the number 7, Joe Hennessy. Two laps to go, says flagman Eddie Walsh. And a scramble in the 3-turn. Cars all seem to get going once again. Leader continues to be Mark Henderson, and he has a challenger on the outside, Joe Hennessy, now as they race side by side in the 3 and 4 turn. Cars get a little out of shape once again. White flag is out. The number 6, Mark Henderson, the leader. Second place, the number 7, Joe Hennessy. They continue to battle. On the move is the 32, trying to work his way back to the front, Dennis Hall on a backstretch. Steve Berry also on the move. Checkered flag in the air now. Number 6 holds off the number 7. Number 6 once again driven by Mark Henderson, the winner tonight. The feature event of the evening for Team C. We'll be going trackside just momentarily for a chance to hear from tonight's winner of the feature event for Team C of the Wildcat Division.
What's it like running out there with all those cars, the spinning? I mean, can you keep track of yourself out there?
Sometimes it's hard to tell, but I knew tonight where I was, and the car's spinning, you just go in and out, and you look at the scoreboard, and they're pretty helpful here. They tell you where you are, so it's very organized.
Well, you did a nice job, and with these Wildcat cars, of course, we designed them to keep the cost down so that we can get involved in racing at a small amount. How much do you think you have invested in the number 6?
I raced that last year, and this year I got probably $400 tied up into it.
Well, that's not bad. Tonight pays you $100, so there's a fourth of that anyway.
Yeah, I made out good last year, winning 2 second places, so I'm happy with it.
Well, you've done a great job, and we congratulate you. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Mark Henderson. Thank you all for being here tonight. From my family to yours, Bruce Elder, back to you.
Thank you, Andy. That concludes our program of racing for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As always, it's been a pleasure to have you here with us, and we hope you'll make it a habit of being right back here with us at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, one of New England's premier short tracks, with short track racing at its very best.